Hey, what's up guys? This is going to be our first video for January, which is actually the first video for the year. So I want to start off by saying thanks again for all the support. I really do appreciate it. It means a whole bunch. And we have more Patreon patrons now than I think ever before. So it's awesome. We're growing, and hopefully you guys are liking the content. I know it was light last month, but I gave out extra figures to make up for that. I got stuck out of town. There was nothing I could do about it. I was out of town for 3 weeks dealing with absolutely miserable stuff. So I didn't enjoy it any more than you did. Trust me, it was terrible. Worst Christmas ever. But since I didn't have the ability to make the extra content that I normally do, I gave out more figures, and those of you that I emailed will be going in the mail today, maybe tomorrow. It depends on how bad the weather gets today. So expect those very soon. Anyway, let's get into this. I have two new customs that I'm starting that I can show you. Joshua. Sorry, Joel's another customer I have. Joshua, the one I'm working on for you, is still underway, but I don't have anything that I want to show on here that wouldn't be very interesting. So I thought I would show you guys the newest ones that are going to be probably kind of interesting, hopefully. So the first one is a customer wants a really thick, bulky Venom. So we're using the Juggernaut base. I know he wants to use it. It's expensive and it's Juggernaut, but he wants to use it, so that's what we're doing. So it's the Juggernaut base because it's a blank body for the most part. So I was able to remove the straps, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have interchangeable hands. So I have to resculpt these so that they don't have the metal thing on there, and then we're gonna put the claws on the finger or on the thumb. Not really claws, but the Venom pointy fingers. So we're gonna do that. And then we also have these gray Hulk hands, which happen to be almost exactly the right size. And I'm going to do a little bit of resculpting on there because he's got some weird wrinkliness and obviously not the Venom looking fingers, but he's going to have the claw hands then and the fist hands. So that's going to be what that is. I'm going to cover up the belly button, whether he wants me to or not, because I don't like that it's there. I have to resculpt the lower legs completely. That's going to be a little interesting because I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but I think it'll be okay. And then I think what's going to be the hardest part is, other than painting this Venom logo, because that's kind of a pain in the ass, is I have to connect this head. He's going to have that very big body, tiny head look for Venom, and it's not going to, I'm not going to connect it like that, don't worry. It's going to sit down on there, and it's going to look appropriate for Venom with that big neck that he has sometimes and a little tiny head. I know it's kind of hard to imagine, but think back to when you've seen Venom, and sometimes he is even bigger than this with even a smaller head, so that's what we're kind of going for. You know, I don't design them, I just make them sometimes, most times anyway. But I think it'll be okay. I know it's weird for me even to see, you know, a big body with a tiny head like this, but once it's all put together and painted and everything, I think it's going to be okay. Plus, isn't there a Venom recently that's exceptionally huge with a tiny head? Like, is that Marvel Now? I don't think it is. Maybe it is Ultimate Venom. I don't know. There's a new Venom, relatively new anyway, who looks like that. So that's what we're doing anyway. It shouldn't be too technically involved other than painting the logo on there, but I've done that a bunch of times anyway, so no big deal there. I think the feet are really going to be the biggest issue, but we'll see how that goes. So that's the one of them. We're going to have the really, really big fat Venom. And then the other one is an iteration on a figure I've made before. And the base body is starting out like this, and it's going to end up being Magneto. So the base body is Rarl, or Rarl, whatever his name is. I hate that name. It's so dumb. The guy that came in the 2-pack with Conan. So that's what the base is, and it makes for a very nice Magneto because it's got one of the best sculpt jobs I've had on any figure in this scale. I love the sculpt on this Warhol figure, other than he's got the armored up lower legs and lower arms. So the arms have already been replaced. The lower arms have been replaced with one of the Serpent Society guys. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Cottonmouth, I think is his name. Anyway, so those arms got replaced, and we were also using his hands because he's got these really nice perfect hands for a Magneto levitation pose. So the customer wanted me to do that, and he's just going to be able to just float around however he wants to, or do kind of like one of these deals. Put his hand out like that, and this hand out like this, or back like this, and he's going to be controlling some metal or something like that. So those are the hands we're using. And for the lower legs, this is a lot more involved. I have to extend this part of the lower leg, and then I have to resculpt, that's the wrong one, resculpt and connect the Wonder Man boots so that we have some nice boots on Magneto. So that whole lower leg is going to get resculpted and extended and modified. And then for the torso, obviously we can't leave it like that, so that's going to get filled in, and his belt's going to go over that, and that's going to hide that nicely. And then for the head, we have the XMC Magneto head, which is a fantastic head sculpt. I love this head sculpt. It's so good. So that's going to go on there. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not going to look like that. It's going to fit properly, don't worry. But unfortunately, we can't leave the head with hair because he wants the helmet on there, and there's no way to make the helmet work with the hair since it's hard sculpted hair. The helmet would have to be too big. So what we're going to be using is just like the last one of these I made. I'm using the Marvel Select Magneto helmet, which I'll have to reshape on the inside. I'll have to cut down most of this guy's head so that it fits properly, but then he's going to have that helmet and the Marvel Select Magneto cape. And that's other than being slightly too lanky, which is just something we have to live with because the body is a little bit longer in the torso than it probably should be. You know, it makes a pretty solid Magneto, and I only say that because I've had multiple people ask me for iterations of it, so apparently they like what they see. So that's what we're going to be doing for this. It's going to be a pretty standard Jim Lee style Magneto, and then we have that crazy bulky Venom. So you guys can let me know what you think about that. And thanks again for the support. I really do appreciate it. It means a ton, and I look forward to making more content for you guys here on Patreon, so keep an eye out for that as well. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next video.